Hi, my name is Bethany Wijanowski, and I'm an associate attorney at Lassiter Law Group. Today, I'd like to give you an overview of the Family and Medical Leave Act, the FMLA. It's a federal law that gives employees the right to take medical leave under certain circumstances. This law is often overlooked or ignored by employers, so it's really important that you understand your rights and how it can impact you. The first thing I want to talk about is who is covered under the FMLA. There's a couple different requirements for both the employer and for the employee. For the employer, it must be in the private sector, so not a government entity, and it must have at least 50 employees. For the employee to be covered, the employee must have worked for a covered employer for at least a year, and they must have put in at least 1,250 hours in the 12-month period immediately preceding the request for leave. The next topic I want to cover is what type of reasons an employee might request FMLA leave. Now, the FMLA can be super flexible. It provides up to 12 weeks of leave, unpaid, in a 12-month period, but it can be taken intermittently. So an employee can choose to take their 12 weeks in one big stretch, or they can choose to take a few days this week, a few days next week, whatever works for that employee's specific situation. However, there are a couple caveats. There are only specific reasons why an employee might be eligible to take FMLA leave. One of the major ones, a new child in the family. By birth, by adoption, by fostering, if an employee has a new child in the family, FMLA leave, it's a perfect time to use it. Another reason an employee might take FMLA leave is if they have an immediate family member, say their child, their spouse, their mom or dad. This individual has a serious medical condition and they need that employee to take time off work to come and care for them. That's an eligible reason to use FMLA leave. If the employee themselves has a serious health condition and they need time off of work to take care of that condition, they can use FMLA leave to do that. The last reason an employee might take FMLA would be if that employee has an immediate family member on active duty in the military, and it causes some type of emergency situation where the employee needs time off of work to handle some type of situation. They can take FMLA leave, get time off of work, and handle that. So the last topic I want to cover are violations of the FMLA. One major violation is retaliation. The FMLA gives employees the right to 12 weeks of leave. That means they can't be penalized for taking that leave. They can't be terminated. They can't be demoted. They can't be given a pay cut. And they can't be treated differently as a result of taking that leave. Those are all violations. So for example, if an employee goes on leave under the FMLA and they return, and their boss has now scheduled them only on shifts during a time when their boss knows they're not available to work, and their boss did it because they're angry that that employee took FMLA leave, that's retaliation, and that's against the law. The other major way to violate an employee's FMLA rights is through interference. So one example of interference might be if an employee is on leave and their supervisor just keeps calling, emailing, requiring that work tasks be done even while that employee is out on leave. That's interference with that employee's FMLA rights, and that's a violation. The biggest way we see in our firm employers interfering with FMLA rights is failing to offer it. Under the law, the employee is not responsible for requesting FMLA leave by name. All the employee has to do is give their employer enough information that the employer should know that the employee has an FMLA type situation going on, they might need leave, and then it triggers an obligation, a legal obligation, that the employer offer the employee leave under the FMLA. If the employer does not do so at that time, that's illegal that's a violation of the FMLA. So this has just been a really general overview of the FMLA. Your situation might be different. So if you have questions about how the FMLA impacts you, either as an employee, whether your rights have been violated, or as an employer, whether your company is complying with the law, give us a call. We're happy to talk it through with you. Send us an email, leave a comment below. We're happy to talk to you about it. Thanks for listening. See you next time.